Thank you.
Okay. So let's start by rolling around on our hips and feel how the body moves. Yes, you can do this standing or seated. So standing looks like this, and you might be holding on to a chair or not. So you do which is best for you. In this class, we usually start seated, then we go to standing, and then we go down to the mat. So if you're feeling like I got to get up onto my feet, then please do. And let's reverse it. Really feel how not just the hips, right? There's a sensation as we roll on the hips, but the whole spine is responding to this movement. And up to the head. Feel the weight of the head on top of the spine. That's what makes this practice so different, is that we're really focusing on sensation in the body as we move. And let's add our arms into this. How about figure eights on their side? So infinity. Yeah, you can start with a smaller movement. You might do one arm at a time. Curl it around like a wave, making that figure eight. And start to notice your breath. Check in. Am I breathing? Breathe in and out through the nose as much as possible for you. It's easy to forget and then breathe through the mouth again, but we're using this time to be more conscious of that. And then let's flow the right arm out to the side. You can relax the left arm. Take it out and up and bring it out and across. Pull it in. Relax the shoulder. See how the shoulder likes to creep up? Relax it down. Open it back up. Lift it high. Bend the elbow. Feel the lengthening in your upper arm. Open it back up again. Bring the palm forward. Curl the fingertips down. Lift them back up. Press the palm away. Use your left hand, take hold of the right thumb and pull it gently towards you as you spread your fingers. So fingers and toes, so important, right? They are so important. Seems almost mundane, but it's not. And then you can pull your fingers towards you and push the palm away. And then you might do one of these where you curl the fingers under and take your palm in front of the back of the hand. Shake that out, let it go. Reach the arm back out, bring it across. Let's find our twist. So right hand outside, our left thigh, left hand behind us. We grow tall again. Pull the belly in and up. Breathe in. Breathe out. Inhale to center. Lift your heels. Lift your heels. So now feel across the bottom of the feet. And that ball, massaging with the ball beforehand, can help get up even a little bit. Maybe more into your range of motion when you flex your toes. And that exhale and lower your heels down. Other side. Take the left arm out. Bring it around, open it up. Notice how these are more flowing movements. Doesn't have to be perfect in any kind of way. We're looking for, or we're feeling for fluidity. And let's take the arm up and bend the elbow. And just notice maybe one side was sore and one side is not. And then we're going to open it up. Flow it across, use our right hand to pull it in and lower that left shoulder down. Breathe in and breathe out. And breath is in and breath is out. Open up the arm, bring it on across, find your spinal twist, extending the right arm out to the side and slightly back behind you. Use your left hand, pull the hand into your thigh as your thigh pushes into your hand. feel your shoulder blade on your back on the right side. Breathe in, breathe out. Breath is in, and breath is out. Come back to center. Let's lift our heels once again. Roll the shoulders around and about. Lower the heels down, arms out to the side, up towards the sky. Now, maybe you interlace your fingers, maybe you don't. So you can either be arms apart or interlace fingers, pointer fingers are pointing upward, and we're going to do that figure 8 up. So we're starting to reach up. You can keep your elbows bent. That will help the range of motion. Notice how this feels in your spine as you breathe in and as you breathe out. And then let's draw a circle. So drawing the universe, reach up high, take your arms down towards the side. Come on down. Now push down through your feet. Push down through your feet. So heels, ball of feet, toe pads. Come up the other way. Do it one more time, that direction. So coming down towards the right. And notice what you feel in the back of the body, the lower spine, the sides of the back. Let's reverse our circle. Go the other way. So if you're standing, you might bend your knees to protect your back. Your back might not be quite warmed up yet. And as you go downward, push down through your feet. Really notice that. Let's come back up and take the hands to your heart. All right, so to wake up your feet, a great thing to wake up your feet is to walk in place. Take your hands on top of your thighs and push the thigh into your hands. So alternating, we're sitting tall and alternating one and the other, and feel that pressure of the thigh going into your palm, and your palms, your hands giving it a little bit of pressure downward as you push upward. So that's helping your strength at the same time. And no tension in the shoulder area. So if there's tension in your neck or your shoulder, then don't push down so much. Now let's alternate one leg and then the other, lifting and lowering. So we're breathing in and out as we do this, right? You get to decide how high the knee comes upwards. You get to decide how softly or maybe with a little bit more intensity, you lower the leg. It's okay to give it some good sensation. It's okay to pay attention to whether the heel or the ball and the toes are coming down first. In fact, let's now consciously go heel, ball, toe. So next time your leg is up, push down heel, pull down toe. Lift other side, heel, ball, toe. Up, heel, ball, toe. Up, heel, ball, toe. So inhale as we up, exhale as we lower. And just because it's really easy when something's going on in our feet not to roll through the foot. So this is a great way to slow down and make that happen, because we're consciously bringing awareness to the heel, the ball, the toe. Even that up. And then let's drag our right heel forward and then pull it back. Now we're going to make a circle. So make a circle with your right foot around and about. Now this should feel good on your hip. This is nice for like hip arthritis. Circle it around and about. As you breathe in and as you breathe out, notice how this feels on the bottom of the foot, but also into your thigh and into your hip socket. And then let's bring it in towards the other foot and slide it away. And bring it in and slide it away. And as it slides away, push the heel away, the toes up, and then pull it back in, and the foot is flat. One more time. Take it out, push heel down, pull toes towards you. Let's inhale and lift our arms in a big wide T. Push down through the foot on the left side. Inhale, lift your left toes. Spread them. Notice I'm not looking at them. I might want to, but I'm not going to. Let's bend our elbows because it doesn't matter what they look like. Lower your toes down if you didn't already. And dip your right elbow down as the left elbow is up. You might gaze up towards the sky, leaning your head slightly back into your fingertips. Take a breath in. On your breath out, push down through the right heel and the left foot and rise up. Rise up. Excellent. Bring it on in. Drag that heel back. And now we're going to make a 90-degree angle. Obviously, it's not necessarily perfect, right? I never want you to think that, oh, it's yoga, everything's got to be just that way. Most important, you don't hurt. After that, like no pain, all gain. Definitely a firm believer in that. But this could be a 90-degree opening. It could be a 60-degree opening. Hands on thighs. Sitting bones move back. Shoulders roll up and back. Do that a few times. Roll it up and back. Breathing in and breathing out. And this should feel nice. Next time they're back, let's leave the shoulders back. Feel the muscles coming together, and you can feel them activating towards your spine. And maybe you take your arms into a cactus pose. Beautiful. Breathe in. Breathe out. We're going to push down through our feet. Rise up. Bring your right forearm to the thigh. You can always adjust your leg. If it feels like it's too out to the side, walk it in a little bit. And let's circle the left arm around and about. Bending the elbow is very nice at first, especially because it helps us get a little bit more range of motion. Notice how this isn't just about the arm. You're probably feeling some movement on the side of your torso. Make sure you're breathing. Maybe your eyes are gazing at your fingertips. And we're going to rise on up and bring that leg back in. And now let's lengthen the left leg forward. Just feel that nice stretch. And then pull it in. And let's circle around the left foot. So that should feel it should feel good. It should feel good. You're dragging the foot on the earth. Now, if you have the sticky mat can kind of put a little, it'll be a little bit harder to make that circle. And then let's take the leg out to the side and push the heel down and pull the toes towards us. And then pull the heel back in. And extend it away. Toes up. They pull towards us. And bring it back in. And one more. So now really attune. You can always adjust your hips, by the way, on the chair. Attune to this heel pushing down, but the back of the knee staying soft. So we don't want the leg to lock so you feel like the knee is crunching, right? A little bit of softness. If you take your hand behind the knee, it should feel good. It should not feel hard back there. Feel a little softer. And then let's take our arms up, extend long, right and left. Pull your fingers away from each other. Stretch, stretch, stretch the bones in your hands. Then turn your palms sideways. Bend your elbows. Place your fingertips on the back of your head. And then gently lean your head into your fingertips. We're never, ever, ever pushing our head forward. I can't think of a reason we would push our head forward. So that's why I said never, ever. Let's lower the right elbow down, the left elbow up. And then leaning slightly back into your fingertips helps you open up your shoulders. Now, if it feels funky, you can bring your elbows a little bit forward to help lean back a little bit more, and then you may or may not open up your wings, your elbows out to the side, and take a breath in and a breath out. We're going to push down through our right foot, our left heel, rise on up, rise on up. Now let's make that 90-degree, about a 90-degree angle towards the other side, and we're circling around and about. This is a circular, dynamic, flowing movement. The shoulders are rolling forward, up, and back as we breathe in and out. You might feel or hear some little crunchies. And then let's just hold it for a moment. Circle the shoulders up and back and really feel the shoulder blades on the back. Notice if the belly's just hanging out. Pull it in and up a little bit. Notice how that changes things. Maybe take your arms into cactus, like you're going to fly. You can even make a few little pulsations. Take your feet into this. Feel your feet as they press down into the mat or your carpet or your flooring. And then we're going to rise up, bring the forearm to the thigh, left forearm to the thigh, and circle the right arm around and about. And flow the breath, inhaling and exhaling. This should all feel good. You know, some people say the yoga is like an internal or self massage, and it very much is. So it should not feel torturous. It should feel really nice. And then we're going to come on up. Yep. And bring that foot in. Extend both legs long, forward in front of you, and circle the ankles and the feet around and about. You can hold on to the side of the chair so that you don't fall off, and then circle them the other way. And this is such important part of our feet, really, to keep the range of motion. Let's bring the feet back towards us. One of the things that you can do to help lengthen the front of your ankle and the top of your foot, there's a few different things. I'll show them. But the first one is this. To come to you can either, there's a few positions you can do. So one is to move over to the side of the chair and then do some gentle, maybe little taps on the top of the foot. If you tend to cramp, you could put a blanket down or a pillow, flat pillow, and let the top of your foot and your ankle kind of sink in there a bit. And this is going to help stretch the top. If you cramp, step it back down. Don't torture yourself, right? Take that leg back up. Don't stay in the cramp. That hurts. Bring the foot back up again. Take a few breaths. Wait until the cramp dissipates. Maybe go in again, but not so deep. So maybe not quite, you don't take the leg quite as far back or quite as far as down. This is also going to stretch the front of the thigh potentially at the same time. Now, if you don't want to go to the side of the chair, you can come forward in the chair and then take your leg back like that. And that works too. So people are comfortable in different ways. This works too. I don't quite get as far back when I do it, but meaning my thigh doesn't go quite as far down, but it's a great stretch for the top of the ankle and the foot. And then let's do the other side. So step the foot down and we do the other side. So either like this, where you're facing forward and the knees going down, or maybe you take your hip off to the side of the chair and you might move that pillow or blanket to help you. These are just really great stretches. I noticed that people walk better after they do this stretch because the feet and the ankles can get so stiff. So this is a nice thing. You can hold on to a chair. You could even have another chair, or I got this wall here, so I can use that as well. So really, really nice thing to do for the top of the foot. And I'm going to show you when we go down to the mat. Some of you are going to say, no way, but I'll show it anyway for those of you who can do it. And notice how you're getting a stretch in your thigh at the same time. All right, we'll let that go. And of course, we do our yoga handshake for our feet. You know, I love that. Or toe separators, right? We haven't talked about the toe separators in a while. But I'm a firm believer in those as well. It's a great thing to put those toe separators in between your toes after like a good walk. Let's bring the knee in towards us, right side. And then for the hip opener and the yoga handshake, you're going to bring your ankle across your thigh. Now, if for some reason this is not accessible, then you're going to put you can stack blocks or pillows or something and put your foot like this. Now this is at this height, it's going to be a little harder to do the yoga handshake. So you'll skip it. You'll skip that part of it. But you'll still get a hip opener. So foot is on block or ankle and foot are over thigh. They're actually beyond the thigh. Sit tall and we can take our hands to our hips, start to lean forward, keeping shoulder blades on the back, moving sitting bones back until we feel a stretch. And then we stop and we breathe. And if you've gone too far, back off a little bit. And if you think you could go a little further without too much, you should not feel maybe a little dull discomfort, but that's it. And then we're going to push down through the standing foot, our foundation foot. That's the left one now, and come back up. We're using our feet to root to rise. Now, we can do little taps on the bottom of the foot. Give it some love. Do little taps. You could also make a fist and put your knuckles and draw like lines into your foot. That's a nice thing to do. So taps, we're kind of waking up the foot. Now, those of you who have any neuropathy going on, there's this desensitization. Or, you say, you know what, that just doesn't feel good. I'm not going to do it. So you get to make the decision. You are the gurus of your body. Nobody else is. So the yoga handshake, we take as many fingers as we want, or as many as fit, and we're going to put them in between the toes. So I'm going to start with the pointer finger in between the big toe and the second toe, and then the middle finger. Now, some of you are like, that's enough, and stop. Or you keep putting your fingers in and there'll be some pressure, but that's why you might only do 2 or 3 fingers, maybe not all 4 at the first time you do this. And then you can circle the ankle around and about. And we can do another hip opener while we do our yoga handshake. So we sit tall, we lengthen our spine, we lean forward as we breathe in and out. Shoulder blades are on the back. Gaze is forward. We're going to push down through the bottom foot. Rise up. So this is a super nice thing to do. I also love those toe separators. You can kind of play around with your hands. So I'm just kind of making these little movements with my wrist and my hand. So it's good for the hand and for the foot. And then let's bring our hands into prayer, and we're going to do a twist. So we're going to bring the right elbow towards, now that doesn't mean it's going to touch the the right foot, and then come back up. So right elbow towards right foot. Now, if your foot is down here, it's still that way. We're still twisting towards the left as we breathe in. And as we breathe out, one more, and maybe this time you open up your arms, lowering and lifting and lengthening and maybe leaning back a little bit, and then come back to center. Let's release that foot down, and we got to do the other side before we start some standing postures. So again, it's going to depend on your left hip. Do you have your foot on the block like this, so the outside, the foot is on the block, or does the foot come up on top of the thigh, just above the knee area? And if for some reason this doesn't feel good because you feel like you need padding there, a lot of people take a washcloth and put it there. We do have, some of my students like to call themselves delicate flowers. So you can just put that there and maybe it gives a little bit of cushion for you. Then we sit tall and gently press your hand. Now this is gentle, not on the knee, taking the left hand on the left thigh, the right hand on the right thigh as we lean forward, keeping the shoulder blades on the back. Stop when you start to feel some nice, you'll feel a little bit of lengthening outside of the hip or maybe the inside of the thigh. And you can rest your right hand on your foot and feel the sensation of your hand touching your foot. Breathe in and breathe out. This is a nice place to stay if you know you have a really tight hip, or you can come out of it and go in again. We're going to rise up. We are tall. And then we're going to do that little tapping on the bottom of the foot. Wake it up. Give it a little bit of love taps. Stimulation on the bottom of the foot helps so many things. It wakes up your legs. It really wakes up your body. And it does help you balance because we're waking up the bottom of that foot, especially if it was, asleep or maybe a little bit numb. Now, make your fist with your hand and press your knuckles. My arch area gets kind of sore, but this feels so good. All this stuff is really good for plantar fasciitis, by the way, because we're helping get the tendons, the ligament, but it's really the ligaments pressing against the arch, and it should feel calming to the nervous system. And then we're going to make our yoga handshake. So use whichever, how many fingers fit in between your toes. You can always switch it up. Like if you got your fingers inside the first few, you can always move it afterwards to get into into the spaces in between the other 4 toes. So you could always do 2 here and then 2 here. But don't ignore your pinky toe. It's important too. It actually helps activate muscles on the side of your shin when it's alive and open and awake and alert. So we want an alert, awake pinky toe. And then we might come forward once again for a nice hip stretch. Breathe in, breathe out. We're going to rise up and bring our palms together and find a little bit of a twist. Doesn't have to be an intense twist. We're bringing the left elbow towards the left arch, and then we come back up. That doesn't mean the elbow is going to touch it either. We're just working that way, in that direction. Do a few more. So you can feel your core working when you do this. So elbow towards leg, pull the belly back in towards the spine as you do your twist, and then rise up. Let's release that down, and we'll find our way towards standing. We just done seated, but you can stay seated, of course. And just moving the props out of the way. Let's do some standing or seated sun salutes. So really feeling your feet as they press down into the earth after you just woke them up. You can tell a lot with the feet, like the colors of them, is the circulation moving. They play such an important role for us in our mobility and in our stance and our posture. And they're so connected to our organs, as we know from reflexology and acupressure points. So with the arms down by the side or possibly holding the chair, push down through the feet, have a little bit of softness in the knees, and lift one or both arms up towards the sky, reach high, And then exhale, bring your hands down, heart center, just to get grounded. And then exhale, lower the arms. Inhale, they rise up. Arms are long, body is long. Push down through your leg bones, down into your heels and the balls of your feet, right? And then how about maybe the right toes lift and lower them, and then the left toes lift and lower them. And exhale, hands out to the side. One maybe on the chair. You could bring your hands to your hips as we lengthen the spine forward. So either arms out to the side or at your hips or on the chair. Roll the shoulders up and back. Soften the backs of your knees. Release your head and your jaw. And you might even take a gaze at your feet and notice where the weight is in them. Is it towards the outside of the feet, the inside of the feet? We're going to push down through our toe pads and rise on up. Lift on up. Arms upward. Hands at the heart. Let's take a side bend. For your side bend, perhaps you take your feet a little bit wider. Now, you can have the chair in front of you like this for your balance as well. You just can't see me as well when the chair is in front of me, which is why I put it to the side. Let's lift the right arm up. And you can put your left hand on the chair or at your hip or down by your side and find your side bend. Pull your ribs back, take a breath in and a breath out. Notice that the weight is going towards the outside of your feet and push the inside down. Let's lift back up. Exhale, lower the arms. Inhale, lifting the other side. So you can have your opposite hand on the chair. And let's take a side bend now towards the right. And the hips may veer a little bit to the right, and that's just fine. Now, my weight tends to go to the outside of the feet, so I have to consciously push the inside of the feet down. Breathe in. Breathe out. Notice how you're using your core to stay up. There's just no possible way to stay up without doing that. And then lift on up and exhale and lower down. Good. Let's take even a wider stance. So again, you could have the chair in front of you. And so take a nice wide stance and push your heels away from each other. Yes. And then we're going to lift one arm or both arms. We are in 5-pointed star. You guys are stars. Pushing down through your feet, spreading your fingers, reaching tall through your spine and the crown of your head. Awesome. We're going to take that side bend once again. This time you can pretend you're holding a beach ball. Some of you in Florida there. You can soften your knees as you take your side bend towards the right. Inhale up. Notice how you have to pull your belly in to stay upright. And then go the other way. Hold your beach ball. Breathe in and breathe out. And inhale, rise up, hands at the heart. Now, turn your toes out and your heels inward. And we'll soften the knees. Knees are going to come over the heels. And then push down through our feet to rise up. You got it. Exhale, bend the knees. So if your knees are going beyond like that, that means either widen your stance or don't go as deep. We want the knees to go over the heels. And so you can go deep or not go deep, but you don't want that knee beyond your heels. So it's all going to depend about the width of your stance, the length of your legs, all kinds of stuff. Let's push down, rise up. Good. One more time. Come on down. Now, maybe you take your arms into cactus, or maybe one arm in the cactus. Take a breath in, a breath out, point your sitting bones back. So angle them back and then downward. You'll feel a little tone in your belly. Push down, push down, push down through your feet to rise up and walk your feet back towards each other. You got this. We'll do some heel lifts. So facing the chair, facing a wall for a little balance action. Some of you like to put a block in between your thighs. That's great for balance, but you certainly don't have to. What it does is it turns on the inner thighs. So you might do it without and then do it with to compare. We'll inhale and lift our heels. And then we'll exhale and lower them down. Inhale, they lift. And exhale, they lower. We lift on up. Breathe in. Breathe out. And lower. Now, maybe the next time you release one or both hands, you're finding a spot to stare at that's not moving. Not moving. Hugging ankles towards each other. Staring and breathing. And you can stay as long as you want. If you feel a need to come down, you come on down. And then maybe you start again. This balance is so wonderful. So maybe one more round. Inhaling as heels rise up. Pulling inner ankles towards each other. I do love to go into Hakini Mudra while doing this. This is fingertips touching. While you're doing it, that can really help your balance as well. Balancing right and left hemispheres of the brain. Breathe in. Breathe out. We'll lower down and let's find our way to wall dog. So walking our feet back, holding on to a counter, a chair, a wall. Your hands could be on the wall. And let's bend and straighten our knees a few times. Easing into our wall dog. Breathing in. And breathing out. Bending knees and straightening them. And then walk your feet back and towards each other. Let's do a few of those little circles with our feet while we're standing that we were doing seated. So you're going to circle. So your chair can be, again, it can be like this. But just don't bump your toes into the chair. So maybe it is easier to decide. You get to decide that. And we're going to circle the toes around and about and just feel the movement. And then you're going to bend your opposite knee. Bend the opposite knee as you do this. And then next time we're going to circle it. And then shift the weight to the right side, the right leg, and bring the left leg in towards it. And then we'll do the other side. So we're going to circle now the left side around and about. You can have your hands at your hips, your arms out to the side or onto the chair. That's it. And notice it should feel pretty good. It's nice for the hip joint. And then bring it on over, shift it to the left, soft knee, and then bring that right foot to meet the left. We'll do that a little bit faster, smoother, should I say. So we're going to circle it, bring it across, shift it, and then go again. Circle it, bend knee, bring the opposite foot in. And if you'd like to take your hands out, you could do that. Circle it, bring it over to the side, and pull it in. Notice this transfer of weight. Circle it, step it over, bend knee, bring it on in. Good. And now let's face the chair. We're going to do some, they're kind of like side lunges. So we've got a long stance, hands on chair, bend the right knee, and the left leg is long. You got a lunge going, and then switch it up. Bending the left knee, sitting bones are back, switch it up. And then one more time, towards the right, and towards the left. Come back upright. Now, bring your hands to your hips, push down through your feet, roll the shoulders up and back. Good. We're going to come back down, and you can either take your hand to the chair or your forearm. And then we're going to keep our left hand at our hip, circle the shoulder up and back, push down through the feet, bend your left knee, straighten it, bend it, maybe lifting the left arm up towards the sky. Bring the hand back to your hip, and then switch which hand is on the chair, bending now the right knee. You can pulse it a bit there too. Notice if you're getting an inner thigh stretch, roll that top shoulder back. You're getting a little bit of a twist and maybe opening up the right arm out to the side. Then come back to center, both hands on the chair. How about a few push-ups before we go down? So your hands are on the chair. You're going to bend your elbows in towards your side. Don't bump your head on the chair, and then lift back up. So exhale, bending elbows, leaning forward, and then up. Some of you might take your hands to the side of the chair, but it's not as easy, or it's a little bit harder to do those push-ups that way. Shoulder blades are on the back. And then one more. Sitting bones back, crown of the head forward. Lift up, walk your feet back in towards each other. And let's find a little plank here because it's so much fun, right? So walk your feet back, hands on the chair, lean forward, belly in. You'll get a good calf stretch here. And then we're going to push the hips back, step the right foot forward. We're in a warrior one kind of lunge, or heel can be up. And then you're going to get more of a front of the thigh stretch on the back leg. And then step your right foot to meet your left and switch sides. We got our lunge here. You get to decide if the heel is up or down. Some of that is based on your foot, and some of it is based on your hips. And maybe you have a little bit of pulsation or just kind of melt into the stretch. And then we'll bring the left foot to meet the right and walk back into your wall dog. And then lean forward towards your plank. Pull the belly in and up. And then press back to wall dog. And walk your feet back in towards the chair, standing in mountain. Let's find our way to the earth for the last part of our class. So you might bring a blanket, a block, and a strap with you so it's nearby. And you might put the blanket down, as you know, to come on down safely. Chair against wall, bending one knee and then the other to come down. And when you get down, go onto your hands and knees. I'm just going to move this out of the way. So we're on our hands and knees. And your knees are about hip distance apart. And your palms are on the earth. And they're about shoulder distance apart. Fingers are spreading, and we can rock forward and back. Just rock forward and back. And maybe make a smile with your hips, going one way and then the other. And then come back to a neutral table. Feel your shoulder blades on your back. Let's do a cat pose. So belly in. And then go to the cow, heart rising. And then exhaling, make your cat pose. And then inhale your cow, so your shoulder blades are coming together. Now find neutral, shoulder blades on the back, extending one leg back. This is also really nice for the calf and the foot. The toes are curling down. Push the heel away as you rock forward and back. Breath is in and breath is out. And do the other side. So bring the knee back in and extend the other side. Now, if your wrist gets tired, come down onto your forearms. Some people put their hands on the blocks and that feels good to them too. So you could come onto your forearms or hands on blocks. There's other options I'm happy to show you, but as your wrists and your hands get stronger and a little bit more stretched, it becomes a little more comfortable. But if you have arthritis, we want to be careful. We're not looking to aggravate any part of the body. We want it to be happy with us after our practice. And then we're going to do gate pose. So there's different variations of gate pose. And for one of them, you might use a chair. So I'm going to show it, and then you can choose what variation you'd like. Now, you could use neither. You don't need to have a chair necessarily. It's going to depend on you, but I'm going to show it with the chair, and it's nice to have the blanket for your knee. So one variation looks like this. We're on our side, the knee is down, top leg is extended out. So that's one variation of this. You could have your hand on the chair in front of you, which is why I brought that over. The other way to do this is hand at your hip, or maybe hand on a block instead of the chair. And so this is, yes, a balance pose. And then we're going to play with lifting the leg and lowering it. So it's like you're karate chopping the earth because you're flexing the foot as you push the heel away, and you can inhale as you lift the leg and exhale as you lower it. Notice you might feel some toning in your hip as you breathe in and as you breathe out. And if it feels available to you, you might lift the leg. You might take your hand to your hip or keep your hand on the chair. Then we're going to rise up. So it's kind of like a triangle pose. And maybe take your hands into a T. And you could be right here. You could also have a hand on the chair, or you could take your hand to the long leg and lean into a little side bend towards the long leg and maybe lift the other arm. Breath is in and breath is out. Come back to arms into T. Bring the knee back in, and let's do the other side. I'm going to move the chair, but you know that you certainly could use it. So this pose is very good for weight bearing for the shoulder. Want to make sure this arm is turned out, so it should feel okay in your shoulder. Now, some people come down onto their forearm. I don't prefer it, but you might. And that's okay. And a blanket under the knee is a nice thing to do. So we're going to play with lifting and lowering. And the leg doesn't need to go any higher than your hip. We're clawing the mat with our fingertips as we breathe in and breathe out. You could also do little pulses like this instead. Oh, I see a cute cat. So pulsing up and down a little bit. And then you might play with, now you could play with your balance with your arm up, but your leg down, or you could have your leg up and play. We're pushing the heel away. And we're going to bring the leg back down and lift on up. And now we're going to find that variation of, it's called gate pose, but it's kind of like triangle pose on our knee. Breathe in and breathe out. And breath is in and breath is out. And let's bring the knee back in. And I'm going to show this just because I talked about it, but you don't have to do it. I'm just gonna show it fast, and if anybody wants me to show it after class, I will, because not everybody can do it. But I just want to show it because it's really good for your ankles if it is accessible to you. Probably a side view is best, and you can be on a blanket or not. And you take your feet, you can either go, this is called Thunderbolt, where you sit on your heels. This is Thunderbolt. So this is really nice to stretch the front of the ankles. So if that's available to you, I highly recommend it. Another variation is take your feet out and sit on, you want your butt to land on something. So if you go down like this and your butt's not on something, then you bring a block or a pillow there so you can sit on it. Yeah, I see a few of you are doing it. This is very, very, very good for your feet. But if you're cramping, you can put a blanket under there. Take yourself a little bit higher up. It's great for posture. It brings that lower back curve in. I'm happy to answer any questions afterwards about it. I know some of you that's just not accessible, so I don't want to spend a lot of time on it. Let's go to our child pose. So knees apart, toes together. And by the way, if you do that pose, I would stay there for a while. That could be a resting pose for some people. I know people who meditate in that pose. So now our arms can be bent, the elbows bent, or arms are long, depending upon your shoulders. And let your hips rock right and left. And right and left. Breathing in and breathing out. A nice massage for the lower back. For the lower back. And then we're going to come down onto our backs. And bring your strap, or you can use your hands. And you might put the blanket underneath your head. And we will stretch the back of our legs. We haven't done a lot of that. We did a little bit, but not a ton. And this also feels really good in the foot. To put the strap around the foot, and then you can kind of massage it by taking one, like alternating, pulling one side, then the other. Ooh, this feels very good on the arch of the foot. So it's a nice little massage as you start to stretch your leg upward. And so the opposite knee is bent, foot's on the earth, and then you're pushing your footprint up towards the sky, and you can bend and straighten the leg until you're ready to fully stretch it to your range of motion. Always about you and your body. So this feels good to pull the strap into the arch of your foot. And this really feels nice to go back and forth. So try it out. You could do this seated in the chair too, by the way. Need a little bit, maybe longer strap. And then we're going to bend the knee in towards us. You could release the strap and use your hands to pulse the knee in towards your shoulder. Some of you might touch your foot, and if you do, go for it and pull the foot in. But holding your shin is great here too, and just pulling that knee in towards you. And then we're going to release the foot down, and then we'll do the other side. So strap around the other leg or the other foot, and same thing. Start with the knee bend, massage the back or bottom of your foot. It's really the bottom of your foot. Feel your shoulder blades on the back as you do this. So the head's just neutral. The shoulders are relaxed. And then you might bend and straighten the leg until you find your optimal stretch. Your optimal stretch. Breathing in and breathing out. Soft breath in and soft breath out. Breathe in and breathe out. And one more breath is in and breath is out. And releasing the strap. If you'd like to do one last back bend just to feel, actually a restorative back bend would be really nice now. So if you want, you could rest in a restorative back bend instead of traditional Shavasana, which is lying down on your back. If you wanted, you could put a block under your butt like this, or you could do a pillow, or maybe not as high as a block, and restore. You could also do a pillow or blanket like this under your butt, and that could be your resting pose like that. So just for a little bit of restoration, you're drawing your shoulders on your back, your arms are down by your side, and some of you are going to lengthen your legs, and some of you might want to put your legs up on a chair, and that would be wonderful too. One of the most wonderful things to do for relaxation is legs up the wall or legs on the chair. And that's really good for the circulation in your legs and your feet because you're reversing all this energy. So this is a really, really nice thing to do. Highly, highly recommend it. Reversing lymph, circulation. Really nice for your lower back to release any pressure on it. Breathing in and breathing out. Breath is in and breath is out. In our final relaxation pose. If anybody needed anything else for their body, please do it. Let the whole body relax. Maybe you allow the palms to face upwards. The fingers are relaxing. The hands are relaxing. The arms are down by your side. Your hips are heavy. And you can feel the weight of your hips on the earth. Your legs are relaxing, either on the earth or on the chair or on the bolster. And taking soft breath in and soft breath out, releasing control of the breath. So you're just watching now the flow and the wave. As the air comes in and out through the nostrils, as the belly floats up and down. Breathing in and breathing out. Whole body is relaxing. You could stay in this pose. You might put some relaxing music on. You could be just feeling and riding the wave of the breath. Highly, highly recommend it, especially on your weekend. Take some time. Let your body become renewed, refreshed, so that you're reinvigorated to begin anew. I'm going to bring my palms together in front of the heart as we close our class together, but please stay and relax until your body is ready to reawaken. Very grateful for our time together in support of the Michigan Parkinson Foundation. Namaste, and I'm here for any questions you might have. Namaste, everyone.
Namaste.
Namaste.